What is going on, Headliner Nation? Welcome back. Next episode, Fantasy Headliners, where today we're talking about the NFC Conference Championship, and I'm not doing it alone because it's better to do it with somebody else. Right, Kyle? How we doing?
I'm doing fine.
Caught you off guard with that one a little bit. That's all right, though.
Oh man, caught me completely off guard. But I'm pumped for another weekend of the playoffs. And I tweeted on Sunday that good thing the XFL is starting this season because I don't know with how exciting these playoffs have been, how we're gonna make it for months afterwards and not have any football because these have probably been the best playoffs that I can remember in quite some time.
Yeah, when you take into context the entire playoffs, not just a game here or there that's been good. For the most part, they've all been good. I mean,
Yep.
a slight scare for Kansas City last week. They came down, down 24-0 quick, and everybody was like going crazy on social media, going, "What has happened? The world is ending. We have no idea what to do." And the next thing you know, they put up 51 points. Absolutely,
They scored so many points that they ran out of fireworks for
yeah,
celebrations.
that's a problem. But it's a good problem to have. But now we're going to be talking about the NFC Championship game this episode, and it's going to be on Sunday, January 19th, 6:40 p.m. Eastern Time, and it's going to be between the Green Bay Packers and San Francisco 49ers. Right now, to open up, the 49ers are a 7-point favorite with an over-under set at 45, going to be played there at Levi's Stadium. It's going to be a good game, and even though both these teams have some offensive weapons, I kind of expect the defense to play a role in this game, Kyle.
Oh yeah, for sure. And this game's going to be a lot closer than the last meeting. I mean, if anybody watched that last game between Green Bay and San Francisco, it was all San Francisco the entire time. They were in the backfield. However, the offensive line a little bit more healthy now than it was during that matchup. But also on the flip side of it, the San Francisco defense is much healthier right now than it has been for the last few weeks. Quan Alexander is back. The defensive line is looking. I mean, this is going to be a really tough matchup. It's going to be a lot closer than what we saw a few weeks back, but it's going to be a defensive game. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of offense this week.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me maybe a big play here or there, but it may turn into one of those games that's just very big play dependent. A lot of punting going back and forth. Kind of a game that's really based off of field position here, majority of the game, and it may come down to that second half. I mean, we mentioned the defense, the pass rush on both sides of the ball is going to be a factor for both of these teams. But when you start looking at the offensive side of things, obviously on the Green Bay side, you have Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams. Those are the big three that are going to put up the majority of the offensive work for the Packers, but this is no pushover of a defense at all whatsoever in San Francisco. And you just mentioned it a second ago. They're healthy. They haven't been completely healthy for a few weeks up until last week, and that defense was dominant last week. I expect a lot of the same. Even though Aaron Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, you still have to limit expectations this week.
Yeah, there's really two things that I'm looking for in this game. Number one, it's Richard Sherman and Devontae Adams. Can Sherman hold Adams to you're not going to hold Adams to 0 catches, 0 yards, but can he limit the damage? Can he keep from Aaron Rodgers getting to Adams on those big plays? If he can do that, you're taking away that main weapon because those secondary options outside of Aaron Jones have not been great for Green Bay. So if you can take away that main option of Adams, then you're really having a lot of issues at that point. Number two, now this is going to be the one that basically killed the Seahawks this past weekend. Can you get Green Bay off the field on third down? That was something that Seattle was not able to do. There was several big plays that Seattle gave up on third down that quite honestly, if they could have gotten off the field two of those times, they'd probably end up winning that game, but they just couldn't get it done. Can San Francisco get that done this week?
Yeah, that's going to be one of the biggest problems and something to definitely pay attention to. But on the other side of the ball for San Francisco, one thing that they've really excelled on a lot this season is running the football. And, Raheem Mostert left last week's game. Tevin Coleman all of a sudden came back out and looked like the second coming of Tevin Coleman and a Kyle Shanahan offense. I mean, the guy looked great, something we hadn't seen since middle of the season. But now coming into this week, with Mostert looking like he's going to be good to go to play, you have Matt Breida still in the mix. This is kind of one of those three-headed monsters, and if you're doing any type of fantasy football, any type of DraftKings, this could turn into a headache for you because all three of them could be involved this week.
Yeah, absolutely. And switching to a kind of a fantasy football perspective at this point, if you're playing DFS, who are you going to pick in this game? There isn't a whole lot of anybody. The best selections are going to be over in the AFC championship matchup. Over here in the NFC, though, that's the best matchup that you have. Green Bay has had difficulty stopping the run this year. Yeah, they stopped it last week, but Marshawn Lynch is not what he used to be. That offensive line in Seattle is not really what it could be. So I'm not really reading into that. I'm reading into the other performances we've seen this year. So who do you pick though? Do you pick Mostert? Do you pick Coleman? Do you pick Breida? I mean, it's going to be a crapshoot. But really, outside of that, I mean, Kittle's not a bad option, but there's much better options again in the AFC. I am not playing Aaron Rodgers at all. I'm not playing Jimmy Garoppolo at all. That rush is going to be too much for them to really put up those big plays. I will, however, take a look at if you really in a cash game you want to have Devontae Adams. Go ahead and roll with it. A lot of people probably will end up playing him. He'll still probably have a pretty high ownership percentage, especially with what he did last week. But you could go with a Deebo Samuel as well. I mean, he's a guy that is really wide receiver 1A with Emmanuel Sanders, but Deebo Samuel's the guy I trust a little bit more to have a bigger game. The matchup on that side of the ball, again, not great, but he's a guy that you could play maybe in a GPP and get away from it.
Yeah, Deebo Samuel is one of those guys who's just involved in a very creative offense. They use him in a lot of different ways. He's not a one-trick pony that's reliant on 10 targets a game. That's not really what he is, and he kind of gives you that safe floor week to week. So we've talked about a few of the weapons, Kyle, and with San Francisco being a 7-point favorite at home, do you see any possible scenario that Green Bay could pull this one out and win this game?
I mean, it is possible. It is, but I just don't think that they have the secondary options behind Devontae Adams to really make it work. I mean, Jimmy Graham is a shell of his former self. Ellen Lazard hasn't been bad at times this year. Geronimo Allison hasn't been bad at times this year. But if Richard Sherman can shut down Devontae Adams, the rush defense for the San Francisco 49ers, if they can keep Aaron Jones limited as well, if they can keep Green Bay out of the red zone, if they can force them to kick some field goals, that's going to be really key for San Francisco winning this game. But it's on the road. It's in San Francisco. That team is playing very well right now. Great defense. I think it's going to be really close. I think we're looking at a fourth quarter touchdown, maybe a late field goal that will seal it for San Francisco, but it's going to be back and forth, a lot of defense this entire game. It's going to be really close for 4 quarters.
Yep, I agree. I'm going to have to go with San Francisco also, and one of the biggest arguments I can almost guarantee we're going to get from a lot of people down below in the comment section is the unprovenness, the lack of big games for Jimmy G there in San Francisco. A lot of people were saying that last week going up against Minnesota. The type of offense they run there, the way that they can run the ball, I think that takes a lot of the pressure off of him. Does Jimmy G go out there and light it up? Probably not, but I think he has a solid enough game to go out there and get the 49ers into the Super Bowl, which is crazy because it's good to have some other new teams, some new blood in there. I'm looking forward to it. The San Francisco team is very exciting to watch. Either one of these teams, though, like you said, anything can happen here. The playoffs have been so crazy, so many things are happening that you can't even really forecast for. You can't expect it. A lot of unexpected here in the 2019-2020 NFL playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so that was our prediction here for the NFC Championship game. But like usual, we want to be interactive. Let us know down below in the comment section, how do you see this game playing out? Now, obviously, if you're a San Francisco fan or a Green Bay Packer fan, you're going to put your team down below. I get it. Just because we didn't pick your team to win possibly doesn't mean we're sleeping on them or hate them. I mean, just put that out there because a lot of people say, oh, you always sleep on my team. That's not the way this is really meant to be. We're just giving our opinion on a game. Like we mentioned, the playoffs have been so crazy. Let us know how you see it, though, down below. Maybe you see something we don't. That's what we're kind of looking for, trying to figure this game out before it happens. And let's see if we can get on top of it. We greatly appreciate the support out there. Yeah, if you're looking for an AFC Championship breakdown, we'll have that also. So make sure go check that one out. Only a couple weeks away from the Super Bowl. We're both looking forward to it. I wish we were going to it, Kyle.
That'd be awesome. But we're going to the draft, so that's okay.
We are. I need a tan, though. I mean, you should put me down in Miami, and I need a little. I got the winter whiteness going on right here. All right. Anyway, before we get into that, don't want to gross anybody out. They've probably already clicked off the video when I said that. But hey, you guys have a great rest of your week. We appreciate the support once again. We'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.
Yeah.